A very good evening to you. Many thanks for joining us tonight right here on KUTV on the 24th day of 2024. That is a day before Christmas. We have a lot in store for you tonight, but first the highlights. President Ruto urges Kenyans to uphold unity and solidarity amongst each other during this Christmas season. Section of Ruiru residents experience dampened Christmas mood over high cost of living. President Ruto meets AUC chairperson Musa Faki at his Kilgoris residence, discussing the upcoming AUC elections and AUC reforms. And on our special feature tonight on Events 2024, we bring you a roadmap on the rise of Gen Z movement in Kenya.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Anyango, Sylvia.
That's right, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Sami Okelo. Remember, this broadcast is also coming to you live on YouTube at KUTVNEWS Kenya, and you can interact with us on X at KUTV_Kenya at Anyango Sylvia KE. We begin. President William Ruto and the First Lady have wished Kenyans joyful Christmas celebrations and commended them for their dedication in driving the country's progress. The First Family further urged Kenyans to uphold the tradition of unity and giving during the festivities. Oching Cynthia details.
For the second time and round of Christmas festivities since assuming office, President William Ruto, alongside his wife, Mama Rachel Ruto, emphasized on the need for Kenyans to uphold the tradition of unity, solidarity, compassion, friendship, and kindness amongst themselves.
This Christmas, let us remember that together we are always unstoppable. Let our actions affirm the power of unity, solidarity, and compassion. Do not hesitate to perform acts of friendship and kindness. Experience the miracle of giving by giving. Together, we will do great deeds for our nation and warm every Kenyan heart.
This is a season of gratitude, love, and giving. Let us rediscover the power of selfless love in the spirit of this festive season. May it continue to inspire us as we raise our families, serve our communities, and build our nation.
The first in command kicked it off by acknowledging the immense efforts put out by Kenyans this year, reiterating that the hard work, determination, and commitment of millions of Kenyan men and women were the key drivers of the nation's growth and success.
This Christmas, I invite you to go with me on a brief journey to honor millions of men and women whose service is defining our collective national transformation endeavors, significantly contributing to nation building. Because of their hard work, determination, and dedication, there is evidence before us that the work of building a stronger, more united, secure, and prosperous Kenya is underway.
In a recorded video message that seemed to also showcase his government's achievement, Ruto once again championed for the affordable housing project, stating that it is a gateway for the economic growth.
Every brick you lay takes our country forward towards a future of dignity, security, and inclusive growth. In constructing these homes, we are building lasting hope for Kenyan families. Planting trees is an act of hope. We do this to remind ourselves that our action can make a difference for us and for future generations. Trees protect our rivers and water catchment areas, combat climate change, and beautify our land. Our tree planting program is our collective expression of hope for a Kenya that is beautiful and bountiful now and for years to come.
Country's First Lady on her end pointed on the importance of school feeding program, citing her commitment towards ensuring that hunger does not hinder education of children. She further emphasized on the need for nurturing children with love and care.
Kenya's future is in the classroom. Having been a teacher, I understand how difficult it is to teach a hungry child. Our mission is to make sure hunger doesn't get in the way of our children's education. A plate of food is power in a child's hands.
Full of praise, Ruto acknowledged health workers as the guardians of the country's well-being, emphasizing that their efforts are essential to building a healthier nation and securing a better future for all.
Our health workers are guardians of our well-being, using their knowledge, skills, and compassion to ensure every Kenyan has access to care. Your work is the foundation of a healthier nation and a healthier future.
On this Christmas Eve, Kenyans have been advised to stay safe even as they celebrate the festivities. Watching Cynthia, KUTV.
To each one of you and your families, Merry Christmas.
And a happy, prosperous New Year 2025.
For a section of Ruiru residents in Kiambu County, the flair and pomp activities witnessed on every Christmas day will be a thing of the past, at least this time round, as the economy takes a toll on them. According to the residents, the harsh economic condition has forced many to sidestep buying gifts and unnecessary travel as they can hardly meet the required costs.
Unlike the previous years where Kenyans engage in all manner of flair and pomp activities, for a section of Ruiru residents, there is absolutely nothing to smile about, at least for this time round. The economic crisis has compelled them to forgo merry as they can hardly meet the required cost. While most of them have avoided traveling up country due to the huge cost involved, others say they have had to sidestep buying gifts, new clothes and unnecessary travel as they continue to feel the pinch of high inflation.
Kaa siku mbili hivi hatujakula. Na ile kazi napatanga ni kibarua ya kufua na labda inakosa. Sasa hii uchumi iko juu kabisa. So mimi naweza uliza tukifika mwaka mpya January 2025 wao wametutelemshia vitu na washughulikie watu kaa sisi wenye hatuna kazi.
Watu kwa na matumaini ya kukula sikukuu mwaka huu kutokana na uzito wa uchumi ulioko saa hii. Ni ukweli kuna watoto wengi wanalala njaa kwa sababu hakuna mapato, lakini tunaomba serikali yetu ijaribu iwezavyo kuinua uchumi wetu, ndio diposa kila mtu angalau apate kupata mkate wake wa kila siku.
Speaking at St. George's Primary School in Ruiru Town during a food donation event that saw over 600 hunger-stricken locals receive foodstuff, the local called on the government to be mindful of Kenya's suffering. They particularly urged the government to stop further increment of taxes and consider scrapping some to increase the purchasing power of suffering Kenyans, most of whom are jobless, desperate and poor.
Ni vizuri sana watu wajue kwamba kuna njaa na tunaingia katika msimu wa Christmas. Wale ambao wako na unga paketi mbili, tafadhali saidia mwenzako mwenye hana. Hata wale ambao waliweza kutengeneza sherehe ya siku ya leo, si eti kwa sababu wako na mengi, lakini kwa sababu waliona ni vizuri waweze kugawana. Na wengi wale ambao walipanga mkutano huu, they were celebrating their birthday. So kupitia their birthday wameweza kusaidia familia hapa wenye wamesaidika karibu familia 500 wameweza kupata chakula siku.
Despite the economic tribulations, Irongo urged able Kenyans to continue spreading the love during the entire season to ensure that all Kenyans enjoy a meal. Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
In other news, President William Ruto today met with Musa Faki Mahamat, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, at his Kilgoris residence. According to the head of state, their discussions were centered on the upcoming AUC elections and implementing reforms at the African Union structure to make it more effective and efficient in pursuing the continent's interests. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will be facing Djibouti's Mohamed Ali Yusuf and Richard Randiamund Rato of Madagascar in the African Union Commission election slated for February 2025 in the fight for the 5th Commission chairperson docket, succeeding Musa Faki Mahamat. Now, as most Kenyans embark on their journey to their rural homes to celebrate this festive season, car hiring companies have been urged to do due diligence to those they are hiring their cars to. This is because research has shown most incompetent drivers are hiring out vehicles and end up causing accidents. And at the same time, Matatu Owners Association Gusii branch has said that some of the causes of accidents during festivities on our roads were deliberate and could be avoided, especially by the PSV drivers.
With hours just to Christmas and the rush that comes with it, car hiring companies have been put on the spot after transport stakeholders revealed that they are hiring out their vehicles to incompetent drivers without carrying the experience capacity, thus causing loss of lives or even lifetime injuries.
Utapata wengine wanachukua hizo magari hawajahitimu ya kutosha, na kama walienda driving school ni kidogo na mtu hajaenda na lile gari. Nikiwaomba sana muende mufanye yule mtu interview mzuri before achukue lile gari. Ndio maana tujue huyu mtu anachukua lile gari kama amehitimu, kwa sababu lile gari anapolitumia ikienda pale ikifanya accident haitafanya peke yake, itakosa hata yule mtu mwenye ni competent driver.
While addressing the press in Juja, Sub-County Police Commander Jackson Sang also pointed an accusing finger to parents who allow their unqualified kids to drive their cars carelessly, warning that the police will not entertain this as it's putting the kids' lives on the line.
Our children, they must also celebrate, but as they celebrate, I want to caution parents that let these children be guided all through. Don't allow young persons to drive. Don't allow people of immature age to drive. They can easily cause unnecessary accidents.
Juja Sub-County Matatu Association Chair Jackson Wamai, in unison with other stakeholders, urged all Matatu SACCOs to be on the lookout so as to smoke out any indisciplined driver even before the intervention of the police, and further warned against drunk driving, careless overlapping, overspeeding, and overworking, saying the aforementioned are the biggest recipe for accidents in Kenya, and therefore urging Kenyans to celebrate responsibly.
Tukienda watu wasikue excess, watu wahakikishe wametoshea kwa viti, driver asifanye kazi zaidi ya masaa 8, na pia tumehakikisha ya kwamba sisi kama machairman wa SACCOs, hakuna driver anafanya kazi akiwa mlevi, hakuna conductor anafanya kazi akiwa mlevi. Kama driver ni mlevi, huyo tunapatia askari direct.
Consequently, Matatu Owners Association in Gusii has pointed out causes of accidents like overloading on Kenyan roads can be avoided, stating that some of the causes were deliberate, especially by the PSV drivers.
Tusiwe na mikaza ya watu wamekufa kwa ajili ya ujinga wa binadamu. Ninasema ni ujinga kwa maana kweli mtu kiendeza gari pole ufuate sheria inaenda 80 na uwe mwangalifu, unaona hapa ni kona, unaenda vizuri. Hapo tutapunguza mambo ya ajali.
Haraka haina baraka. Hivyo ndio nasema machache wa siku njema. Alafu ya mwisho msimalize pesa yote, muangalie January.
Theo Masharia, KUTV.
Indeed, haraka haina baraka. We are taking a very short break on the broadcast tonight. Don't go far, we'll be back with more stories.
I'm Joy Bofenda, and here at Focus on Health, we'd like to thank you for being with us throughout the year. We urge you not to drink and drive and celebrate responsibly with your loved ones. We wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and until next year, stay safe and stay healthy.
Na uso wa jamii, kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukati na kumfanya mwenye bidii, kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke wake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimweli.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Anyango Sylvia.
Welcome back. Remember to keep engaging with us on X or all our social media platforms on X at KUTV_Kenya, on YouTube at KUTVNEWS Kenya. Now, being a digital native generation, it is through the social media that Gen Z movement fueled to protest, no physical meetings, just communication through the internet, majorly the X platform. On our special feature tonight, on Events 2024, we bring you the roadmap of what triggered the nationwide leaderless Gen Z protest that later turned to riots, demanding accountability from political leaders. "2024 saw the rise of Gen Zs in Kenya, a group that sent shockwaves not just in the country but also worldwide in the quest to reshaping the nation's social, cultural and economic landscape. The tabling of Finance Bill 2024 in Parliament on 9th May 2024 was not business as usual here in Kenya. The amendment of taxes to cater for the country's budget instead of borrowing, as was proposed by President William Ruto, was not well received by a big number of Kenyans. We meet Joy Awich, a Gen Z lawyer who was actively part of the Gen Z revolution. Joy narrates to us what fueled their move to take the bold step of demanding for accountability from leaders.
As a young Kenyan, starting off my career or being at the point where it has picked and now starting to pay serious taxes at that point, so it was very personal, and that's why people came out, because most of us were starting off our careers, most of us are just starting to to even see the fruits of your labor, and then we have this draconian bill that was coming in and was about to be passed into law that was then throwing us in a fix to imagine what will our futures look like.
What began as random posters written reject finance bill to challenge members of parliament to reject the bill before its signing to law seemed to be falling on deaf ears. Gen Zs, backed by millennials in frustration, took it upon themselves to educate the general public on the finance bill in different native languages, including sign language across social media platforms like TikTok and live Twitter sessions.
دي تاكسكا وقت اللي بحين تاريخ 20 كلها دافته 50% extra كدري 50% معايا مكسي بقولك content extra كدري
pesa madano solo magmon magmama chama mamboka ka solo mudio save serikali dano donje pesa ne akanye mondo ke tax kuome ko ready ichulo tax kinyo mo mate ichulo tax kinyo mkate kinyo chumbi kinyo sukari kinyo ngo everything bidamo mora opanda.
These engagements fuel the rise of decentralized activists through social media, including Samuel Makore and Fasafi Hanifa, who mobilized a large section of Gen Zs for a nationwide peaceful protest dubbed Reject Finance Bill. It was during this time that sensitive videos and phone numbers of members of parliament leaked, with hashtags like Salimia Yeye gaining popularity.
This factor of looking at holding our leaders accountable for the violations of our rights, holding our leaders accountable for the misappropriation of our funds, for failure in their leadership in various ways, that united us, and the matter that always divided us, which was tribalism, went out of the way.
The peaceful protest that began on 18th June 2024 in Nairobi escalated to nationwide protests after members of parliament passed the finance bill. By this time, Gen Zs had launched weekly protests dubbed Maandamano Tuesday to push for the withdrawal of the finance bill in its entirety.
I, of course, came out on June 18th and was arrested on that very first day and went to Central Police Station. But that didn't stop us. That did not stop us, and we continued precisely because it stopped being just about that. It started being about oppression. It started being about the violation of our human rights. That in itself showed to me that we were at a very dangerous place as a country. A place that we had possibly been in before, but a place that I'd only heard of but had never experienced, and that I never wanted this country to be.
The protest then morphed to hashtag Occupy Parliament, and on the 25th of June, the country was thrown into the mother of all demonstrations, courtesy of the Gen Zs, who later that day broke into Parliament, burned section of the Parliament building, forcing legislators to flee the premises for their safety.
Mr. Speaker, sir! I'm here to address you. You must go.
Members of parliament fled to parliament's parking lot and Bunge Towers. The riots led to at least 20 deaths, and a number of dead bodies were even paraded in front of the parliament gate. The aftermath was a series of abductions and killings in quest to identify leaders of the protests, which had already escalated to riots with lots of looting. Subsequently, President William Ruto conceded and withdrew the bill on June 28th and signed into law the Appropriations Bill 2024.
And listening keenly to the people of Kenya, who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this Finance Bill 2024, I concede, and therefore I will not sign the 2024 Finance Bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn.
This was already too late for him, as the Gen Zs were now demanding his resignation, with hashtag Ruto must go gaining popularity in social media platforms. The movement demanded for resignation of President Ruto and dissolution of his entire cabinet following the deteriorating state of economy. The leaderless nature of the Gen Z movement was the beginning of their downfall. President Ruto called for a dialogue to address the state of the nation, but there was no one on the other side of the table. The opposition took the opportunity and negotiated with President Ruto, leading to the dissolution of the entire cabinet on July 11, leaving behind Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi and then Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. A new cabinet was appointed, and therein, the opposition garnered 4 slots in the new cabinet with 0 Gen Z. However, Joy still believes there is hope in the movement.
I do believe that this is something that we'll see again. I believe that I hope that even in my old age, I'll be able to witness something like this happening again for different reasons, not for the same reasons. I want to see a better Kenya. I want to see a change in my leadership. I want to see more leaders that have better integrity. But certainly, a spirit of revolution, the revolutionary spirit was cultivated in the young people, and we are the future.
Government chance has since been on a falling trajectory following the newly introduced anti-protest measures like the ban of protest and the increased abductions that has caused fear among upcoming activists. Some activists were also seen sidelined by Gen Z for what they call betrayal after they got involved with the government. The sensitization on the current governance is however still on, with scrutiny like the Vampire Diaries done by Morara Kebaso being done on each government move, project and promise. Anyango, Sylvia, KUTV. Now that's on our 2024 events tonight. Now moving on, in September, the U.S. military completed its withdrawal from Niger, where it had 2 bases that helped partners in the Sahel counter terrorism. The pullout came after members of Niger's military staged a coup in 2023. The U.S. military says the withdrawal has had a major impact on efforts to fight terrorism in the region. VOA Pentagon correspondent Kala Rab has more.
With the U.S. military now out of Niger, defense officials say their presence in West Africa has dropped from about 1,000 troops at this time last year to fewer than 300 today.
Our goal...
U.S. Major General Kenneth Ekman led the withdrawal of U.S. forces, who were helping counter violent extremist organizations, or VEOs, in the Sahel.
If there was one country that was most important on our ability to address Sahelian VEO problems, or the Sahelian VEO challenge, it was Niger. It is a strategic setback with regards to how each of us pursues our security objectives in the region.
Military analyst Bill Raggio says the already dire terrorism in West Africa is worsening.
The jihadists have been on the march. In some countries, it's stunning. For instance, Burkina Faso. It's admitted that about 40% of the country is under control of Al-Qaeda's branch there.
He says that without a major base to host troops and surveillance drones, U.S. and French counter-terror missions in West Africa are in bad shape.
The region has become more opaque. Absolutely.
Without the Western support that existed before the junta ousted the democratically elected government, Niger has failed to hold back a rising terrorist tide. The Nigerian military says terror attacks earlier in December killed at least 39 people, including children, near the border with Burkina Faso.
In Niger, violent extremist attacks have become more lethal. That's a fact since the coup on 26 July 2023. They've got fewer resources and fewer partners.
But officials say the withdrawal doesn't mean the U.S. military is giving up on West Africa. Instead, it's resetting its efforts.
This is the nascent stages of our reset.
General Michael Langley, the head of U.S. Africa Command, told VOA in October he aims to build a new footprint to help fight the region's growing terror threat.
We pulled out of Niger, but we are engaging with coastal West Africa countries because as we look at the what direction is metastasized is on the northern regions of Kutv, of Ghana and Togo and Benin.
Ekman says that requires a different approach.
If our presence in Niger allowed us to go inside out relative to the Sahelian-based VEO threat, we now have to revert to going outside in. Countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Benin, Chad, our access to them and the degree to which they want to partner with us will influence how we go outside in.
And General Langley says negotiations to work with those governments will take time.
We're still in stages of defining what that host government at their higher levels of what they do want from us to be able to complete that solution set to effectively counter terrorism.
As deliberations continue, more and more terrorists are threatening the very governments whom analysts say have pushed away the countries that might be able to help them. Carla Babb, VOA News, the Pentagon.
On that note, we're taking a very short break. We'll be back with sports.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka, akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake, ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke, akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari-ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimweli.
Angu ndiye Yesu Bwana, wote waingie kwake. Lango, 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 hili lango liwazi.
I am right here for your sake. Now, today we are going to talk about the beginning of a fall. But not just a fall, it is a fall never to recover. If you spend your time sleeping, na tumesema while you are drunk, your senses are sleeping. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. How are you doing today? I'm well in the Lord. I hope you are well in the Lord. First of all, I'd like to thank our Father in heaven. They say broken things can't be fixed, right? But that's a lie. Genesis chapter 3 verses 8. That evening they heard the Lord God walking in the garden, and they hid from him among the trees. But the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whomever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." Catch me right here only on KUTV every single Sunday.
Welcome back. In sports tonight, the Wonder Diamond League has set aside big rewards for the individual athletes across the track and field disciplines beginning next year. Under the new structure, top athletes will earn a significant amount in the top prizes available after the money was increased, with lower finishing competitors also to earn big. Individual athletes in diamond discipline will continue to win up to $10,000 at series meetings and up to $30,000 at the Wonder Diamond League final. Now that is it from us tonight. Thank you so much for choosing KUTV and for staying with KUTV this far. On behalf of the production team of this broadcast, which is a team of very big men and women behind the scenes, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2025. We will be here tomorrow right here at the same time. And as I always say, don't forget to keep that extra chair on your table for the less fortunate as you celebrate with your friends and family.